All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today. My name is Finch Animation, but better known in the space as Kenichi. So, and I will be hosting today's session on the pre-AGI 2026 roundtable on behalf of Singularity Net and Singularity Net Ambassador Program. So I think most of the people in the room right now are quite familiar with each other, but like I can imagine that more new faces might join us as we continue. We're gathering today basically to focus on a discussion, basically like a conversation about the main AGI 2026 conference that's starting in San Francisco on the 27th, right? I think so. So for anyone who's new to this, AGI 2026 is the 19th edition of the only major conference series that is devoted entirely to artificial general intelligence and the systems that can match or exceed basically human level generally. And it runs from the 27th to I think the 13th of July, both in person in San Francisco and online. Excuse me. So if you haven't registered yet, we'll share you a link, or there'll be a QR code at the end of this slide you can see right now that you can use to basically register. Once we get to the end of the slide, at the end of the session, you'll be able to see the QR code, and we'll also share it on our socials so you can register basically. Brief intro on SingularityNet. SingularityNet's mission is to create decentralized and beneficial AGI intelligence that serves humans, humanity, and other maybe sentient beings in terms of intelligence, artificial intelligence. So not just a handful of centralized people. Events today, basically like the one today, part of how we keep the conversation open, rigorous, and quite grounded in the realities of people and the basically generally everyone who's actually building, using, or might be affected by this one way or the other. So over the next hour, we will work on this. We have three topics basically for this discussion to cover, like three sectors. And first, we'll like to go around to see what has genuinely and generally surprised you over the last 12 months or maybe like 18 months of AGI, maybe normal artificial intelligence progress. And then we will explore how AGI conversation itself changes depending on where you are from or where you are currently like located in the world, from Silicon Valley to London, Lagos, Beijing, Bangalore, and hopefully beyond that, everyone who's listening. And thirdly, we'll go deeper into ethics, and not just like the principles or something that we're just going to put up on the slide, but we're actually going to treat it as a real constraint that's like maybe like a design flaw, basically, that builders face when they're moving fast and trying to build within the space. Then at the end of that, we'll actually open the floor for questions, reflections, general conversations and brainstorming, or just open thoughts. We'll keep the energy high, and the answers will be relatively mostly like tight, so that multiple people and most voices here can be heard. And yeah, so I think that's just a quick introduction, and I would like to go around everyone to actually maybe introduce themselves or say a little bit about themselves before we kick off. So I will just be I'll just try to mention people as I see them basically on my list. Feel free to type in chat if you're not comfortable. Maybe you're not somewhere where you can actually open your mic. That's also fine. First person here would be Paul Tiffany.
Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Carver Tiffany III. I'm going to AGI26 actually right now. I'm in commute. I participated in the BGI build recently and basically enacted what Google just enacted as part of an experiment that you can check out, paultiffany.github.io/come to AGI26. come -to AGI26. I'm super excited. This is my first time coming to an academic conference. I'm just really excited to meet everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, super
Oh,
excited.
and I'm probably not going to really, I'm just going to listen from here and be safe driving. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, safe trip and thanks for the warm intro. Nice to meet you. Next person on my list here will be Supreme Spice.
Hello, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Sorry, my background may be noisy. So my name is Sophia, better known as Sugar and Sprite here in this community. So, I've been here working as a contributor, and I'm glad to also be here for this pre-AGI26 event. So good to see all of you here. Welcome once again.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for introducing yourself again. Always nice to see you. Next person on my list here is Zok.
Hi, everyone. My name is Guillermo Lucero. Been building within the ASI and Singularity Net ecosystem for the last 2 years, focus on decentralized AI governance. Enthusiastic of decentralized AGI and glad to participate in today's call. We are live on our Singularity Net Ambassador Zoom account, and we'll be sharing some technical aspects of the two bills we are pushing in parallel with the AGI26 that is happening this week. So check the chat on the Zoom call. I'll be sharing that as a comment on the live post. Good to see everyone here. Got to share Saturday with you people discussing AGI future.
Thank you very much, Guillermo. Always nice to hear from you as well. Zok, do you want to go next? Or oh, okay, can't talk right now. All right, that's fine. Next person is Vani. Okay, Vani can. Love.
Hi everyone. I think I already spoke earlier on, but I'm just going to go again. My name is Love Owokere, and I'm actually happy to have all of you here. And I hope that we have a fun time and we don't get bored. And I hope that we crack jokes and I hope that we figure out what we're doing with AGI26 this year. And thank you for having me and have a great time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for that. Next person here will be Sean Jackson.
Yeah, hi guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So I'm up here in Canada. I'm part of the AGI Ventures Canada group. It's where we do a bunch of hackathons and promote and build AGI. I'm glad to be here. I've been building something. I'll just put in the chat here. You can check it out. I'm all about adding persona to the AGI and getting it grounded in your work and having a truth gate because we need truthfulness AIs. There's a white paper that I created called The Derivative of Truth. I mapped it directly in with Ben's work on the probabilistic logic networks. So I'm here to share. I also, with the booster, I linked it to Ray Toy, which is the first music avatar inspiration from William Gibson. And I do believe that the Open Claw is also using, or sorry, Omega Claw is using something similar to the persona backed AGI situation or whatever. So I'm here to pay attention, to become a member, and to share my work and push AGI forward. Mainly persona backed, truth-gated, and creativity. That's where I'm at.
Thank you very much for introducing yourself and about your projects. Yeah, I'm happy to hear you're already building with our stack and looking into what we have. Hope you stick around for more. Thank you for that. Next person here would be, I think, Ambassador. That's Malik, right?
Oh, yep. Hey there, guys. Yeah, hey there, Malik here. I'm a core contributor at SingularityNet Ambassadors program for a while now. And currently, I am the production management and live streaming management here. So, yep, pretty excited for what's coming next.
All right. Thank you very much for that. And the final person on my list here is Deval Katri.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so I have joined the community recently. I've been interested in AGI for a while. Like I joined software engineering just to, be part of the AI community a long time back. Now looking to contribute and make some things. That's
All
it
right.
from my side.
All right, thank you very much for that. Looking forward to see what you build. And yeah, I think that wraps up the introduction, so we can finally kick off into things. And we'll be taking the first question on our list here, which is yeah. Okay, so looking at the last 12 to 18 months of AGI progress, what has surprised you the most? Is it the speed of capability gains or how little the public conversation has shifted to match that speed? Open this to the floor. So who wants to take the first swing? What has genuinely surprised you in the last 12 to 18 months regarding the progress of AGI or maybe just generally artificial intelligence itself?
Well, the one thing I've been surprised about is how I've realized there is no spoon. It's taken from the Matrix. What does that mean? It means that with AI, the speed of manifestation from idea to product is speeding up. So there's no spoon. That means there is no more limitations. Anything we want, you can think about, you ask your AGI to define it for you, and then you got it. So the speed of manifestation is speeding up so quickly, and that's truly amazing to me.
But yeah, I understand the spoon part and it has really given everyone power. But what I am worried about is like, like the power lies people who have servers and who have compute resources. Like anyone can throw around a server and they can do auto research. They can add like they can add servers and they can, they don't need people now. They can just have ideas from 0 to 100 in seconds. And people who do not have resources, they can only, like scale so much. For example, if you're using, for example, if you have Cloud Code, if you're using free version, if you have tokens, or even if you buy servers, you can just, spin up your different models together and you can hyperspeed your projects. So what worries me most is again like which each technology how it creates a barrier. With AI, the barrier increases a lot. People who have resources and people who don't have resources.
Thank you very much for that. That's actually quite interesting. You mentioned Cloud Code. Yeah, basically, in terms of people that actually have solid resources compared to the ones that don't, there's actually that lag. But is there any other lag, especially when it comes to the entry point and like basically for people that might not be too familiar with what's available today and the kind of progress that we've had, like someone that's been in the space, let's say roughly within all this whole time frame and has seen the growth compared to someone that's just coming in? Is there any lag there?
The lag, seems to be all around for people who want to conduct experiments, who are interested in AI itself. Like if they want to build their own small models, if they want to, run their experiments, like you can have free resources like Google Colab and Google all that, but they offer, limited resources, and like you can only work around 2-3 hours a day. And even if you are someone who is outside and just wants to use AI for creating apps, creating that, it's like it limits the number of experiments you can do. For example, someone who has a lot of resources can spin around 10 different experiments, while someone who is, who does not have those resources will be limited to the amount of experiments they can create. And so, like, when people do say that, AI makes the playing ground leveled, but it is not in that sense, like, because uh, competing has become a lot harder in that sense. While it is not like it does not affect, everyday people who are just using AI to, search, who are using it as a search tool. For them, it remains the same. Yeah, your learning can become fast. You can ask it a question and you will have an answer. But conducting experiments and building products, the gap there has that's the gap which is widened the most. And delivering products, that's the biggest gap there.
Thank you very much for that lovely insight there. And just so we can cover this just one time, on the capability side of things, is there any specific jump compared to last year that feels like maybe extremely or like quantitatively different?
Well, I guess I'll say the speed of the open models is really a game changer, because we didn't have that last year where you could just spin up a really, really intelligent model locally. That's almost as good for not high quality engineering tasks, but at least some entry points. And we didn't have that last year. So I'm really happy, like Gemma 4, for an example, and other such models with the quantization. We didn't have that last year, and that is helping the barrier of entry. So as we develop, it's very important that we develop local first and try to design for a GPU that the individual can run at home, but then it's still limitation on your hardware. So that great divide, I think it is shrinking. And we'll see in the next year, I guess, right? But we didn't have that last year, and I'm really happy about running local models to do a lot of tasks that that we couldn't do before.
Awesome. That's really on my side personally. That's really happy to hear something like that, and that's really good. We can, if anyone actually wants to add one more or any thoughts on this before we move on to the like global picture and all, we can do so. Feel free to unmute. But I think so far we set a really strong foundation to move forward. But if anyone wants to add anything, that's fine. But if not, we can move to the next question.
On the capabilities part, I guess I was like, yeah, capabilities have, radically increased, because as someone who has been part of training models as well, like this like 18 months back, people were training models to, be able to learn algorithms and just be able to answer data science questions. But now, as the GPU servers have increased, people have been able to align those capabilities, and now the models can answer really complex questions, and hence the entry has become easier. But if you want to go in depth, it has helped people who already have expertise. Like if you have depth of knowledge in any field, you can scale faster. Like the breadth knowledge has become easier for entry, but if you want to go deep, you need to have deeper knowledge. So people who are specialized in any field clearly have an advantage there compared to 12 months back. Models, because models do well, like at entry, I said, like, as I was saying, entry has become easier. So the models have basic idea really well, but when you go into depth, the models do hallucinate a lot, and they will just try to confirm your bias. If you say that, okay, I think this is right, they won't argue with that, and they will confirm with your bias more. So that's why like people need to have specialized field knowledge as well now, rather than just having like just a general knowledge level. Like as the entry has become easier, but going in depth is where people will need to scale now over time.
All right. Thank you very much for adding that. Really appreciate it. And we can move to the second question now. And also, I'd like to welcome the newcomers. I think I see Emant and Benjamin. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, so I think I will move to the next question. So basically, I think like one of the most interesting things about what's happening right now is that AGI is not really a single conversation. Like it sounds different. I mean, depending on the cities, country, or like region that you're in. So that brings us to our second question, which is how different does the AGI conversation sound when you move between Silicon Valley, London, Lagos, Bangalore, Beijing, or basically wherever people are currently having real life experiences with it? Are the gaps mostly about the capability and the access, or about like regulation, or about deeper cultural priorities? So for if there's anyone here who actually moves between places to that extent or has had conversation outside of the usual hubs, if you can give us insight on what actually changes, that would be great.
Well, I guess up here in Canada, at the AGI Ventures Club, we do throw a bunch of hackathons that give access. And that's going to continue, where we get sponsors that provide access to the models. So at least someone that doesn't have access to themselves, they can go to these events and get exposure. And that has to continue. And so also like the Omega Claw, we got to continue to have more hackathons where we expose people to these, and somehow it has to be a sponsored event to give access to the people that can't run the high quality models at home.
Absolutely, absolutely. I feel like education and ensuring that there are source materials and information for people to jump right in is always eases the entry point basically, and also lowers a lot of barriers. Actually, anybody else has any other insights on the topic or this question?
I guess I would like to talk on the regulation part because I have like been to Bangalore, been to Hyderabad, and the Indian side of the culture, and because AI has a lot of capabilities and it has boomed in the past months. People have moved toward a competition, right? So this mostly about scaling bigger and bigger, and people are forgetting the what could be the effects of the what they are trying to create. It has become more of a competition, like how Dr. Ben has also pointed out in a lot of articles, how the race has become more about pushing the capabilities than understanding the regulations and part. And I guess in the previous meeting before the AJ as well, if you were trying to ask, I think Wani or someone was trying to ask, like, do we people need to think about ethics first, or they just need to build and then the ethics parts come is being thought about by someone else? But sometimes when there is a corporate race, the ethics parts gets buried down because we live in a type of community where financial gains are really important for companies who are investing. So the ethics part a lot of time gets regulations, and ethics part gets pushed down a lot sometimes. For example, I was recently reading an article where the open people are directly bypassing the gate for the models. For example, if a model is has capabilities where it won't answer questions about cybersecurity, or it won't answer questions about how to make chemical bombs and stuff, people are there are methods where they allowed the network's weights to be changed, that those bypass filters will be completely eliminated. I've seen research papers where people are printing how to eliminate those barriers completely, like without introducing new training methods. Just take an open source model and they are able to they are able to completely hijack that filter. So regulations, people need to talk about it. If people, and at least people who are in the frontier labs, they need to bring up the topics, because people from outside cannot do that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I built in a truth gate in my AGI. I have a 4-layer truth gate. So it's a RAG. So I first do a search to get the information. I send it to the LLM. But then after the generation, post generation, I'm doing a truth gate where I verify and remove anything that doesn't align with the intent, but you can still get around it. I know yesterday at the Meta group, we were talking about formal verification to add that extra layer to get the AIs to be aligned, because this is a big topic about jailbreaking and getting the AI to do whatever, but it gets even a bigger topic when AI is super intelligent and getting it aligned with human values. And so we can either truth gate it and really remove certain things, but using formal verification math is one of the approaches I think Nil was talking about to help harness that, because you're absolutely right. You can jailbreak it fairly easily today, and that's an issue. And then you can take the conversation even deeper. You're like, well, do you have to give AI, link it somehow directly with human? And this gets into biological computing. And when it has connection into biology, it then, for survival, it has to kind of align with the human values. But that's a deeper topic. And then you can think about us humans, right? How do you get a bunch of humans to agree and align on the truth, or align on, agree on stuff? Well, it's messy, right? We don't all agree. But there's morals that we follow, but then morals are different in different countries and different cultures and everything else. So when you map into the human abilities, it's also messy. So the formal verification way is a little probably better than going into mapping the AI to biology, because when you map into biology, it's going to slow down the AIs. And that's really a messy topic that's a deep topic. But it's a real issue, the alignment and the grounding of the AI, how to control it properly. But Meta we're doing something in the formal verification, which seems to be a good way to go about it.
Yes, so that's what like the alignment part, conversation needs to start before start building the model. It cannot be an afterthought, because jailbreak is like still you're trying to do jailbreak, like you're trying to role play and get scenarios out of it. But there is a new method which is like the weight abilitations, where people try to ask it questions, and whenever it answers no, they try to figure out that okay, this is the path, or this is the layer which is supposed to divert the question. So they are eliminating those weights itself. They will create 10,000 prompts which will get an answer no. They will try to understand, okay, these are the weights, this is the path that is the made for saying no, and they are removing those weights itself. So they are going just more beyond jailbreaking as well. So that's why the regulation and the alignment part needs to start before itself, not after you have trained the model.
Yeah, I'm going to share something here. So I created a white paper called The Derivative of Truth, which is a new mathematical framework for AI truthfulness. And what it does is it alters the it alters the algorithm in the training to actually make the AI match closer to truth rather than exact match, because exact match is just a match, right? It's not truth. Truth is slightly different. And what I created a white paper about is how to change the training where the AI tries to maximize truthfulness rather than just exact match. Yeah, so I just shared it just on the topic here. But you're right. Like this is kind of also what Meta's doing with the formal verification is you got to get it in the training. It has to be in the beginning, not something afterwards. Otherwise, you're right. You can just hack the model.
Really love the energy and the discussion that's happening right now. I think we've almost naturally drifted into the ethics part of things, because I think we're already going over the ship first ethics or the ethics data discussion. So I'm not sure if we should still ask it, but I think we should just probably just go over it in case there's anything that would probably like to add or was missed. So yeah, so the ethical part of our discussion today opens with the question: should the default posture for builders be ship first, ethics later, or should every serious team treat ethical reasoning as part of the core product requirements from day one, and why? So, in case there's anything that has been missed over the last few minutes while we're discussing, feel free to add it here before we hop to the next question.
On the ethics part, I would like to say like the decentralized part, or we need to move away from black boxes, a neural network, and we need to have smaller components which are more explainable. We need to move towards an AI which is more explainable, where we can reason, okay, this response came because of this. In that sense, it becomes easier to like have ethical morals and to build into it, or it becomes easy to have regular regulations, have ethical concerns, or have anything more easier when the AI is more explainable rather than when it is a completely black box. Because when it's a black box, like you can test it 1,000 times and you won't know what 1,001 times will happen. So like for example, the omega claw model, that's like it's more better because it creates a reasoning chain, so you can understand, okay, this happened, and that's why it's answering it this way. Or when we have decentralized networks, we can reason, okay, it went here, it went here, it went here, so this is the like thought of chain. So like there is a branch in AI where people are trying to build explainable AIs. I think people need to focus more on that. And yeah, shift first, ethics later, like it's not going to help. I guess Dr. Ben himself wrote a paper when the mythos was taken down.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think we have to build ethics first and ship later, really, or you build it into the model. So I did something similar in my project, the SSI booster. I have two levels of explainability. There's an explainability report that the AI will pump out its evidence, its facts, and where it came up with its ideas, and it's completely aligned with what you were just saying. And I think we can kind of build it into the model itself where you can actually always see that, because that's the most important part. I 100% agree, is that you have to build ethics in, like explainability has to be part of the core, why it came up with its ideas is very important. And then eventually you can build that into the training, and then it can adjust itself based on the explainability path. But you're absolutely correct. We have to do it as a core.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, everyone. That's actually a really good way to like break this down a bit. So I think this takes us a bit to what does day one look like? Like, is it in practice? Would that be like a checklist, maybe like a person or a process, or is it something else entirely?
Like from my side, I believe, like as I said, we need to move towards like models which are smaller blocks instead of like a whole like a trillion parameter models. Because when you have a trillion parameters all together, you never know like why we have an answer, or like the models are never explainable. Like if we had like there is an old example, right? Strawberry. When if you asked, like it was not able to count the hours. Or from personally, where I have like lots of times I have dumped data into an AI and asked it to like analyze, and like it would say that it has told me that 0.01 is greater than 0.00, like 0.01 is smaller than 0.0001. So it's not able to reason there because there is no explainability there. And even if, as like one is trying to say, like, is ethics anything universal? But like, if like ethics are not universal, and like everyone have different ethical values, different countries will have different ethical values, people raised in different backgrounds will have different ethical values. So I think it's more important to have an answer which is explainable, or at least we should be able to tell that, okay, this model has failed or passed, or this model did this because it followed through this thought of chain, or like this was the reason. So like we need to have models which are more explainable, where we can explain the output, we can explain the reasoning, like, okay, this is why it did this. Especially when like we hear the like lot of people building bigger models, and like having small issues like this strawberry thing, or like 0.001, like in one place it is able to write complex algorithms, and at some place it is just failing because it's like it's just paid on statistics. There is no explainability there. It's just a big black box.
Thank you very much, Deval, for adding that. I think also this leads us to our next question, actually. I can see, sorry, can't really follow too much. It was happening in chat, but it's good to have the conversation, like also synchronously to an extent in chat while we discuss. So, so yeah, the fourth question here on discussion today would be, in a hackathon or a rapid build environment, when does ethics stop being like a nice thing to have and becomes a real design constraint? Like, has anyone here hit that moment mid-project?
No, any of the
Sorry,
projects I've done. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just asking him to repeat the question. Sorry, bye.
All right. In my experience, it's not really talked about that much. I guess because a lot of people don't really know how to have the conversation about ethics, but really we just have to map it in a simpler way where it's just explainability and giving the user the ability to see what the AI, why it came up with its decisions. No one's really, it's in my experience, it's not really on people's radar, but I build it in, from the ground up. But a lot of the hackathons, they just want to see something amazing, and it's just to get access to the technologies. So I don't think there's enough hackathons that are focused on that. And I think it should be a part of all the hackathons, at least as a subject matter. But we're not really talking about it that much.
So someone who has have this hit this constraint about thinking about it. So like it was back in just before COVID. I was trying to wonder how one would make an AGI system, and like when the GPT was initially launched, GPT and Delhi, like the first model of Delhi where it was able to create images, and that time I used to wonder like how would one make an AI and all, and the best answer I could come up with was making a world model. And that's when like I hit the kind of an existential crisis as myself as well, because if you're trying to like people today even say that the LLM is not the answer and we need to create world models, but if you try and create world models, it will lead to only one direction, and that is like you are creating a small matrix inside like the system itself. That's why I was even like I even argued this on the Dr. Ben's post, where he was talking about uploading yourself and open sourcing yourself. But if we try to go in that direction, we would just be going to the direction of creating a simulation, and we would just be adding layers to the problem which already exist in the real world, and we wouldn't be solving those. So like we actually we we need to like this is the time where we need to start thinking about ethics as the free thing as well. Like we do not want world models, or we do not want to create those, because if you like if anyone has seen web series like anyone like the what is the name? I can't remember the name right now, but yeah, like they show how they move from AI to a simulation matrix. So yeah.
Thanks a lot again. I think we have some new joiners to the hours. Welcome and thanks for joining us, Lola, Jeffrey, and Kevin. Good to have you guys here with us. So I think maybe for me, just a little thing to Pantheon. Nice one. That's very interesting. I think I'm a big fan of the show Pantheon. It gives you I think it's a movie to an extent, but like also gives like a bit of context of multiple views basically and potential use cases. I personally like how the characters in the show themselves tries to all have their own personal views and their own and the way the show itself tries to explore multiple views of everyone depending on how they see it and how they're affected by AI. Which brings me to like more in-depth view on this particular question we're talking about right now. Like a lot of the guidance that exists right now still feels like a list of things you must not do. Can we talk about the positive version of that basically?
Yeah, like I guess I think the communities like Aria, and like there are lots of people even trying to create like it the current models, yeah, they make learning easier for everyone, and it's easier to create tools for blind people, for people with disabilities, and creating so it has made a lot of things easier, and it allows people to create things for people with disabilities. And we like so for example, if you wanted to, we can create models, we can create computer vision pipelines which will help blind people navigate the real world, or which would allow handicapped people to have prosthetic limbs. I guess in that sense, it's a really good thing.
All right. Thank you very much for adding that. So let's hop into the next question here. All right. So most ethical guidelines still read like a list of prohibitions. What would a more useful positive version look like? Something that actively helps builders make decisions instead of only blocking bad ones.
Well, I guess you just tell people to build in explainability from ground run.
Exactly.
It's
Yep.
not limiting that's giving you more information as the end user of the product. Explainability needs to be core. It should be in the model almost. So you should be able to open up like after the response. You shouldn't have to wrap it. It should be in the model itself. You could just look under the hood. And so the reasoning trace should just be there.
Exactly.
So if you could hand like a builder one practical tool or principle tomorrow, basically, what would that be?
Well, you just take a look at my booster. I have a derivative of truth report and avatar explainability. It's right there. I just look at my code.
I guess like we need to stop treating AI as a optimization problem. Like most models which are at scale working really good are just treating AI as a compression algorithm, and they're not like trying to create an actual artificial intelligence where which is like, because an intelligence should be able to explain things like why they are doing it. But most companies are moving towards compression algorithms. They're not trying to create intelligence, they are trying to create compression algorithms. That's the first thing you need to tell them is like, you are not trying to create a compression algorithm, you're trying to create a tool which is like, which intelligence like is always reasonable. So like if you are just trying to optimize the math function, it is always a compression algorithm. You don't have to optimize the math function. You need to create something which is more built on intuition, or which which is like more like the graph structure, like the how Singularity Network promotes having a graph or having, logical networks. So if you have logical networks, if you have graph-based thinking, you are able to reason more. If you're just trying to compress and make, trying to squeeze more, lots of questions into a small place where you can just answer questions, it will always have, like you will never have the things explainable. You will never have things about ethics and everything, because you're just trying to create a search engine. Then like because today's most model people scared are they actually intelligent, but they're not intelligent. They are just advanced search algorithm. We are just compressing data. We are not actually building intelligence. So people need to move away from compression algorithms, and they need to move towards more explainable AIs, like how Sean was already telling. So the biggest thing is they need to move towards explainable things. And if you're just trying to compress, they won't be explainable.
Interesting take, very interesting take. And I think there's a lot of solid information there, and basically perspective on how we should focus, or how we should look at the kind of things that we shape, instead of just trying to try to increase the bandwidth in terms of the amount of data it's able to process. And yeah, I think this also brings us directly into the next question, which is when you are using AI agents or autonomous systems in a build, where do the hardest ethical questions actually show up? Is it in the training data, the reward signals, the tool use boundaries, or human oversight layer?
Yeah, so for me, the data is a big one. And every time I'm working with AI, I have my AI set up to point out to me when I'm using data like I don't actually own, or I work with athletes, so when real life athlete data comes into a training model, I have it stop me, because that's something I just don't want to get into. I mean, I do wish more programmers that are building AI would think about like how things impact what I'll call real people. Like, how are we building things that real people can access? How can they benefit from it? Because a lot of these things are built inside tech communities that real people just don't know how to access. They don't come into these rooms.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Thank you very much for that. And of the four things I actually listed here, is there anyone that feels the most under addressed right now? Or is there any, for anyone who has worked with AI agent, basically, is there where did the friction actually appear for you?
For me, like someone who tries to, like uses AI as well to try to do some research as well. The hardest part becomes, verifying like how much of the information, like they want, the current top models, they want people to use more tokens. So they will align with your idea, and they will like tell you like they have a confirmation bias issue. If you say that, okay, 2 plus 3 is equal to 4, because they want to have the continuation, and because someone would have already have compressed the data, they will move towards that. They wouldn't tell you that, okay, this is wrong, you should not do that. Because big companies, they have moved it to a financial model, and they want to have it that. And plus, what has happened is like the earlier data which was collected 12 months back was only about having algorithms there, having data there. And companies have started right now learning about ethics, and they are adding layers to it. They are not, trying to train the models again from scratch with the ethical data they have compiled. They are trying to just add one more layer.
Thank you, Deval. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I think especially due to time and all. Oh, Sean, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I want to quickly say is that that's not going to change. So we have to do things kind of like use the LLMs as a piece of the puzzle, kind of what Ben is talking about, how having a hybrid system where your reasoning is there, but the company's not going to change what they're doing with the LLMs. So we have to take what they're doing, especially from a decentralized understanding, and we have to build that on top of it. This is why I'm really happy with what Ben is doing having the reasoning engine outside, and then the LLM as a piece of it, because I think that's part of the major puzzle, is that you're not going to be able to change the companies because they're profit driven, right? And so they're trying to get you to use as many tokens as possible. That's not going to change. So there has to be another part where we can build on top of that. I don't see companies changing that at all.
Yeah. I think that's actually very valid. I think so. And yeah, so I think we can move to our final ethics question. Then we'll open up the floor for general and like an open discussion, basically. So our final question on ethics is can ethics, I think Sean, you probably gonna enjoy this given with your I think you have like I can't open the link just now, but I'll definitely look into that later with the truth document link you sent. So can ethics be baked into the actual tools and infrastructure we give developers, frameworks and agent evaluation suites, governance layers, or is it always going to live primarily in policy documents and human review processes?
Well, it goes back to my previous comment. The companies that are building LLMs, they're profit driven, trying to get them to build it in. It's going to be difficult. You have to retrain the whole model with this built in. Like, it's a difficult question, that's for sure.
Yeah. Is there anything already shipping that points in that direction? Or we're still a bit, maybe like a few months or a year or so away from it?
Well, I'm not training models, so I'm using them as a part and building scaffolding on top of it. It's maybe for someone that has the compute. I don't have the ability to compute, so.
I guess like it's always, going to depend on like sometimes you don't need the models, like you don't need policies. It again depends on what the intent is for your creation. For example, like when you are raising a kid, like it's like AI is like a kid in some sense. So if you are raising a kid from a bad intent, it's going to, like you can try to enforce many regulations, but it won't happen. So in the same sense, I guess it's about what the intent was of when it was created. So in that sense, I guess we are safe because big companies, they're not trying to, they're not even like they are not commercially trying to build intelligence. They are trying to build compression algorithms. So in that sense, I think we are safe in some regards because they're only trying to build better search algorithms and better compression models.
Oh,
I guess
thank you.
I'd like to say the short answer, I think, yes, it can be built in, but we have to convince the world to do it.
All right, thank you very much for the last comment on that, Sean. Deval, do you want to add anything to that? Or I think you already sent a message in chat. Yes. All right. Okay. I think we've covered a lot of ground today. Really fun conversation. Yes. Text from Love there on BGI26 working on the safety and ethics framework and with a link. Yeah, that's actually from our community and our ecosystem over here. That's a very, very useful material and resource basically that everyone who's interested in the discussion should definitely check out. So we've covered a lot of ground, like I was saying, and before we go into the open floor discussion, is there one thread, question, or sector from this conversation so far that anyone wants to underline or push a step further?
Well, just one thing, please provide us the link or the recording of this. Maybe you put on Discord so we can review it later. That'd be nice.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Malik is already working on that, and definitely once we're done with the session, we're gonna make sure it's always available for people to rewatch and check it out again. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube account and also our X account. Will be making sure that there's a lot of the content pushing out there. So definitely. Thanks for adding that. All right. I think we can move to the open floor discussion now. Yeah, so anyone from chat or anyone who's just joining us or anyone who's interested, feel free to give us your questions or any information basically or any reflections from the conversation so far, and feel free to just open the floor and discuss for a few minutes.
Well, I guess I can share something here. So my project is building avatars. So this is why I have the personality and the domain knowledge. And I'm a big fan of William Gibson. So what I did is I created this music avatar. So if anyone's interested in some interesting Singularity music, you can check out the link that I've posted. It's all of the lyrics are generated from my avatar. Pretty much I call it an AGI because it pretty much is, where you can give it domain knowledge and you can give it a persona, and it's all grounded in all that truth, and then creates music based on it. Just a little side project that I'm doing that is powered by my booster. Also, my booster is designed as a social media platform, and it's really good at creating posts based off of your work. It's real fun to use, so I really suggest you take a look at it. I won't say it again because I've been tooting my horn a lot. I want other people to have a conversation.
Thank you very much for sharing that, Sean. And yeah, sounds very interesting. Pretty sure after the session, I'll try to take a look at it also. Maybe we can, hopefully, I don't know, maybe I'll be able to like create an avatar myself or something like that. Happy to play with anything as well. Yeah, so I don't want to stop the screen share basically, but I'm seeing a lot of links in the chat and I'd love to like probably check out what everybody's working on. And also, yeah, Guillermo, thank you very much absolutely for dropping the link to our Discord. So for anyone who hasn't yet, please kindly join the family, join the community. Feel free to introduce yourself into the ecosystem, and pretty sure the ambassadors and contributors to the program basically will be happy to give you a warm welcome and also show you around any resources, the Omega Claw, Fabric PC, and basically every other thing we're working on in the ecosystem. So anyone else wants to like just discuss what they're working on or anything they're building or what they are looking forward to seeing in the ecosystem or AI and AGI conversation at large, feel free to share that.
I think the Fabric PC is, like in a good direction, and I would like to see them do like I would like to see how the predictive coding gets more explored. But I like it, but like there is a small part of me that hates it as well, because the more Fabric PC is trying to again do the same thing. They're trying to make it faster on GPU, and that's why they are losing the biggest advantage it has. Like part of me that Fabric as well. Hello, yeah, sorry. So the Fabric PC has very good capability where it can be really good for the environment, and it can run with really small computation. But it's trying to compete with the big models, and they're like it's again trying to generalize the whole. It is trying to speed up the GPU process, and that's why I think like they're losing the edge which it should have.
Yeah, so sorry I interrupted there. I was trying to like see if there was any comments or any questions from the people streaming on X. I saw Love raise her hand, but I'm not sure, but I can see Vanny, you have your hand up.
Yeah, just really quickly, I just wanted to draw people's attention to the comment in chat. I think it'd be great to share the links that are in the chat when we share the video. So if anybody has any issue with that or doesn't consent, please say now. Otherwise, I think we will.
A wonderful idea. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry
so
to
I
jump
think,
in.
oh, sorry, go on, Guillermo.
And, if everyone consents, I'm going to be pushing those links already on the live stream post. Then we will redo when we share the edit. Sorry, Sucre, go ahead.
Thank you very much for that, Guillermo. And Love, please go.
Yes, I know we're sort of at the open floor, and I do not want to exactly drag us back, but I noticed that when we were talking about the ethical aspects of the development and what we're building with ASI and the rest of it, some people said that a lot of times when they're having hackathons and stuff like that, nobody talks about ethics. And I was just going to ask, what about you personally? Do you raise it? Do you think about it? Do you speak about it in your environment, in your community? Do you personally think it should exist or it should be prioritized? Because I think before something becomes a routine or is some sort of a rule or guideline, one person would have to actually start raising the importance of it. So that's my question. I hope I'm not dragging you guys back.
I would say yes. I try and bring it up every time I can. This is kind of what the derivative truth is based on, and this is what my avatar explainability reports are based on. If you check out the Booster project, it's all built right into the system, and I use this project as a way to tell people about why this is important. So yeah, I'm a big advocate about it.
Is that Sean?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Yes, this is Sean.
All right, great. Thank you. Go on, Draval.
So yeah, I personally, dropped out of the industry a long time back just to figure out, because the initial my also, like when I was trying to think about it, I was like creating a world model and everything, and it was like it kind of pushed me back, that it did not seem the right path. That's why I was not even building anything for for a few years. I even stopped reading what the industry was doing, and I just focused on learning more about philosophy, ethics, and like what would like if you try to create a system in certain way, what would it mean, which direction it would go? Because like AI is such a tool, like once there is a certain threshold, you cannot roll back from that step. It only goes in the forward direction. So like it again like jumps back to the old question. We need to start thinking about what we are building before we start building, rather than once we are done building it, or like trying to add layers later on.
All right. Thank you very much, Love, for raising that question. Didn't take us back at all. I feel like that was a really good addition and a very good context to add to the floor in terms of us that were personally on the call here. So I think unless we have like someone would like to like maybe have any other open floor questions or thoughts they would like to share, I think we're getting closer to the end of the session, but if anyone has anything, feel free to unmute, or we can call it a day and wrap up.
Just going to ask if there's anybody here who's going to be there in person for the AGI26 starting on Monday, right? Yes, Monday. Is any of you going to be present there?
Yeah, someone was driving. Yeah, someone was driving. I can't remember the name right now, but if you go back to the top of the hour, basically.
I just pulled into an RV.
Yeah.
It was such a wonderful discussion. Yes, I'm excited. I'm going to the
Yeah,
anyone can.
Yeah, Paul, you cut off a bit there, but like, yeah, it's Paul. Paul Tiffany is the one driving and on the way to the event, right?
Nice. Say hi to everyone for us, Paul. We'll be joining. I mean, I'll be joining you guys virtually, of course. So it's just Paul. Ah, that's nice. Interesting.
Yeah, safe trip, Paul. Still driving. And, yeah, I think most of us here would actually be joining virtually. So also looking forward to that. Yeah, just follow our socials and also join our Discord. Basically, we'll be sharing the link to the virtual event once it kicks off. And yeah, hoping to see everyone. Shall we share? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Vanny. So thank you everyone who actually showed up today. Thank you everyone who contributed. Thank you everyone who actually just showed up and just came to support us. Also for all the people who actually voiced out their thoughts. Happy to have you, glad to have you join our community if you're a first timer, and if you're someone who is like Sean who has been in the community for a while, just joining back again. We're always glad to have you back. And thank you very much. Flying early on Monday. Oh, awesome, Kevin. Awesome. I hope you have a blast there. And yeah, thanks everyone for the clarity and the honesty today, and actually contributing and providing value, and also telling us your thoughts and helping us in the journey for AGI and safety and AI ethics, basically. Both in chat and on the mic and other people streaming on X. Thanks a lot for joining and contributing. In a couple of days, our huge supporters, Paul and Kevin and the likes, will be in there in person. Most of us will be online for the AGI 2026, the 19th edition. And the conversation that we just had here today is like exactly the kind of groundwork that makes such conferences like that more valuable. The questions, they don't actually end here, so they travel with us into the sessions that are coming up, basically, and the workshops. So if you haven't actually registered for the AGI26, the QR code is on screen right now, so you can scan that and register. And also we'll be dropping the Luma link. I think it's a Luma link in chat, or definitely on our socials, so you can stay tuned for that. We'd love to continue these conversations on our Discord and maybe on our X as well. But feel free to join the Discord if you want like more community members and more hands on deck to brainstorm across the whole board. And yeah, thank you again. This was a really strong conversation, and see you guys at AGI 2026. Have a great weekend.
Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for hosting Kenichi. And see you guys on Monday at AGI 26. I am excited.
Great job, people. See you guys later.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank
everyone.
you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
I hope everyone is carrying love's energy and spirit into 2026. I think I will be as well. And thanks again, everyone. See you guys around in the community. Have a great weekend.